Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Grace Lauren Taylor, and you are listening to episode 42 of the Trauma Dump Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Here at the Trauma Dump Podcast, we seek to answer the question, what is mental health? How do I take care of my own, and how do I support others? This week, we will be discussing the topic of unlearning hatred and why dark humor is a coping mechanism with our very special guest of the week, Cassandra. Be sure to go follow Cassandra over on TikTok. Her TikTok is really funny. It's Bitch Fart 2.0. So please go check out Cassandra over on TikTok. Her TikToks are genuinely hilarious that even, Drew Ruffalo and Brittany Broski are in love with her. So go check her out. Remember, if you like this episode, please hit that like button and subscribe down below and click that post notification bell. And just a reminder, we post new episodes every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please, if you're listening to us over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate our show. It really helps us out a lot. And please, 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 please share it with your friends, okay? Share this episode with someone you think would like our podcast. It really helps us out a lot because we're helping one another become more trauma-informed. Remember, if you'd like to share on the show, please message us in our Discord and the podcast participants channel along with your unique experiences, and we will match you to the right episode. And just a quick disclaimer before we start, I am not a licensed health professional. This podcast only seeks to create community and further understanding of these topics that are so often overlooked and extremely misunderstood. If you or a loved one are in need of medical professional help, we have resources in our description. The topics discussed here are for a mature audience, so viewer discretion is always advised. So today we're going to be talking about how dark humor is a coping mechanism and how we can unlearn biases and hatred. So dark humor has a lot of names, but we're just going to call it dark humor. And it refers to a style of comedy that makes light of or jokes about a topic that is typically considered taboo or off limits. These topics are usually quite serious, disturbing, or often painful to discuss. Jokes or comments made containing dark humor are known to make outsiders feel really uncomfortable, like maybe unsure of whether or not they can laugh. And some people find dark humor very offensive. I know for a fact, I grew up in a Christian household and I never really heard dark humor or any crude joke until I was in high school. Like, actually, most of the jokes flew over my head, and then I started to, understand their meanings. And I think I kind of gained more consciousness in high school. And dude, I personally, under that guise, that umbrella of religion, I hated dark humor. And now, as an adult who is deconstructing from religion, dark humor is really a tool to help cope with a lot of shit like that we go through on our day-to-day basis. Writers and filmmakers have been using dark humor in comedy for decades, hundreds of years. They're typically focusing on themes like death, crime, poverty, war, violence, suicide, racism, misogyny, sexuality, and other forms of discrimination. However, dark humor now seems to have taken on a new life with the growth of the internet, social media, and the way it is used around people in my generation and younger. Even millennials will use dark humor as a coping mechanism. The amazing Bo Burnham, King, love him. His whole, COVID musical Inside was, for me, a huge awakening because, I'd seen Bo Burnham every now and again. I saw him in Parks and Rec, that one episode, and he seemed pretty cool. But it wasn't until I started listening to inside that I really got into his music. And it's it's almost a way for us to start talking about these things rather than pushing them aside. It's also super common for people who use dark humor in a self deprecating way to comment about their own lives, just like Bo Burnham does. Whereas in the past, it may have been used to target others and mainly minority groups. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you. So sorry this took so long for us to like get together and figure this out. I was like, I haven't been on TikTok in I don't know why, but like weeks.
That's okay. It's chilling. I'm only on it just for shits and giggles most of the time, and then I'm
Yeah.
trying to post more for the podcast, but it's like so draining. I'm like,
Yeah. I read your Google Doc and I was like, holy shit, this is big. You put work in. That's crazy. That's like great. You're
Thank you.
very
Thank
welcome. I was
you.
like, dang, they did great.
Yeah, I do a lot of research and like I mean it. Like
Yeah.
I go in, I read
Yeah,
so
period.
much.
As you should.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. You're like, dude, you research because
Yeah, you did your research. I was like, because at first I couldn't get it to pull up, and I think honestly it was because like my Wi-Fi at work is just ass, and so
hmm
I was like, what the fuck? But then I was able to look through it, and I was reading it, and I was like, okay, all right, fuck yeah, I'm so excited.
fuck yeah.
I was like, this is great.
Oh hell yeah. So today we're talking about unlearning hatred and why dark humor is a coping mechanism. So, introduce yourself to the class. Who are you?
Oh my God, hi, my name is Cassie. I go by Bitch Fart on TikTok, and oh Lord, here we are. Here we are with that one. But yeah, that's who I am. I'm just a silly, goofy idiot. Also a mother and also a realtor. Crazy enough. You wouldn't think that I had like this huge ass professional job with how stupid I am in real life.
I don't think stupid is the right word. Maybe
That's
goofy.
fair.
Maybe
Yeah.
goofy.
Well, yeah, true. Goofy. Yeah, that's fair.
So, dark humor. Um, it's a thing.
Oh God.
It is
Is
a
it?
thing. How I found you was I think it's your like most viral TikTok, but it
Oh,
showed up on my For You page of you crying and saying that like 2024 was like, is everyone wait, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen
oh
so
yeah,
people are
go
gonna
ahead.
watch it like real quick. But
What a absolutely wild, crazy time 2024 has been. Is it every day that it's got to be a lesson? Huh? Huh? Who's writing the script? Tell me their name. Give me their address. I'd love to talk to them. Maybe hit them in the mouth one or two, maybe three times a lady. You know what I'm saying? Give them the old fucking 1-2. Popeye's combo bucket. If you don't know what that is, get scared. Um, I'm tired. I'm tired. Cut me some fucking slack, bitch. Write a new script. Write it in. Give me something good. Fuck, I don't care. Make me win the lottery even. Hey-oh, that's cool. That would make me stop crying even. All right, well, thanks.
quick, but we'll
And then I'll
continue.
tell you exactly what happened and why I was doing this.
Okay, tell me what happened. What happened, girl?
Okay, you would think it was something like astronomical. It's not. I broke up with my boyfriend for like a split second. We broke up for a split second. We're still together now. Love that man. Kenny, love you. Um, but yeah, no, that's what that was about. And it popped off. Why? Please stop.
I don't know, but like Drew Ruffalo liked it.
Oh my God. When she liked it, I shit my pants. I was like, okay, where are we and what? Okay, and then also too, Bailey Sarian
Oh my God, I
commented on
love Bailey.
Oh my God, me too. She commented on it. Oh my God, I literally was like, what is happening? All these people have seen me cry and at my worst. Oh no. But then I guess that's like the dice you roll with fucking the internet, really, truly.
It is. It really
It's
is.
fun. It's exhilarating.
But you were telling me previously that you've gone through some trauma and you've
Oh, dude.
used dark humor as your coping mechanism. Let's unpack that. What have you gone
Oh my
through?
God. Dude, I've gone through a lot. So trigger warning. We're gonna talk about like sexual abuse and like just abuse in general. I mean, it's almost like what have I not gone through, really, truly?
Hmm.
My real dad wasn't the best at all. He was abusive, like verbally and physically. And then like dealt with that growing up. And then whenever you get into like middle school age, my parents, they divorced whenever we were young. I was like 7. I remember going into like my first grade classroom. They did it like before school. They told us, they were like, hey, we're getting a divorce. I had no idea. I'm just a little kid. And so I go in and I'm like, my parents are getting a divorce. And they immediately called me down the counselor's office. And I was like, do I get to go home because of this? Like, I am a little sad. I don't know what it means. So then that happens. But then like, yeah, what a train wreck that was. And then my mom, she remarried to my dad now. His name's Joe. Love him. Sweet angel baby man. Um and yeah, like we were, I don't know, doing our thing, hanging out. We ended up with this family. We were family friends with these people. Totally trusted them. Fantastic people, we thought. And then like their daughters were young and they were my age, but they were also like married to like older men, and I thought that was a little bit odd. You know what I'm saying? Not like my age at the time. They were like closer to my age. They were like 17, 18. But like married to like middle-aged, like 20-ish and up. You know what I'm saying? Like 25-ish to 30-ish. It was
Hmm.
weird. It's a weird sitch. Um, Friends with them. But then since like they were like my age, we hung out with them a lot. Turns out, yeah, that's who sexually abused me, was her whole husband.
Wow.
Um, yeah. But it's because that was the sitch that she was in, and her parents made her marry them because she got pregnant.
Wow.
Weird. So yeah, that's a whole weird sitch right there with religion as well. But yeah, whenever all that happened, he went to jail because of it, obviously. I had to like, dude, it was crazy. So like, how much do you want to know? Like, do I just like
Well,
bring
this
this on?
is the Trauma Dump podcast.
So like,
So,
okay, so we're just fully dumping.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's honestly,
It's my
it's very
story, man.
cathartic. It's very cathartic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, bad.
I have to like give this disclaimer. Are you comfortable with sharing your experiences?
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm comfortable now talking about it because like I feel like I've been through so much shit that it's like if I could get through that and like, yeah, I didn't have like the healthiest coping mechanisms, but I eventually got there and was able to be like smart enough to go to therapy and stuff like that. But I feel like if I'm able to get through some of this bullshit, that I can maybe help some other people go through some stuff as well. Even if it is through like jokes and like laughter and like stuff like that. Even if like some people are just having a tough ass time, if I'm just being silly and goofy and can help you like laugh and get through some good stuff, cool.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
exactly.
But, like,
And I want to make sure that I'm not crossing any of your boundaries and respecting your experiences because even though we can laugh about these sorts of things now, it is really tough.
oh yeah, bad. Like it's really weird to talk about. But I mean, not like weird to talk about. It's good to talk about. I can talk about it anytime. But it's like this is a platform that wants to hear my story. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
Yeah.
this is wild to me. But yeah, no, like I didn't have this like easy time at all. And I really do feel like this whole crazy shit that I've gone through is what has made me funny, unfortunately. Um, because like, I mean, how else are you going to get through anything without fucking laughing? Like,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
But
can understand that. I mean, a lot of people use dark humor to experience and express the full spectrum of emotions without having to actively, talk about, oh my God, something is wrong. You can just make a joke about that something being wrong. And it's almost like you're a balloon filled with so much emotion that just that little joke is like almost a little way of the air to come out just a little bit so
yeah.
you don't pop and explode.
Yeah. Because I feel like definitely like just like I don't know, little side jokes every now and then. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But also too, I feel like if I want to say real fast, some jokes are definitely off limits. You don't make jokes about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story. But yeah, no. I think I laugh at least like, I don't know, 10 times a day to get myself through the day, be stupid, silly, love it. And I say stupid generally, not like I'm not digging at myself. I'm just silly, goofy. Like that's
Yeah.
just how I am. But yeah, no, like so with all that, like it wasn't just that, like he went to jail, he came out of jail and he also burned our house down, so we were homeless. Yeah, so we went through that. So yeah, we dealt with that as well. And then also too, another tie to the story is it wasn't just him, it was him and my uncle that did it. So when our house burnt down and we were homeless, we had nowhere to go and we had to move in with my uncle who was abusing me that I did not tell anyone about. That was the one part of the secret that I didn't tell about because that was family. So I ran away a bunch. I never stayed at that house. I stayed with my friends. I stayed with my friend Brandon a lot. Um, oh yeah, we went to concerts all the time. Like they were in a band, so I traveled with them a bunch and managed a bunch of their bands and like just stayed busy, stayed away. So on the road with the bands, hanging out with them, going to concerts, being silly, goofy. That's definitely how I got through most of that
Mm.
during that time because it was tough. I mean, as a kid, you're in high school, you don't have anywhere to go. Everyone is starting to like wonder what's wrong with you. And it's like, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. And then yeah, I don't know. Just a weird sitch.
I mean, yeah. And a lot of people use dark humor to connect with another person. And it's oftentimes a way to express great stress or trauma because we can feel extremely isolated as though as
Yeah.
no one understands what we're going through. And it's kind of a way to comfort ourselves during these dark times because if you can make someone laugh, that's a
Oh
connection
yeah.
with that person.
I would rather all day long just make people laugh. Like if I could just make people laugh all day long, I would fucking live for that. That'd be great.
Mm.
I love making people laugh and like people feeling so safe around me and just like so like welcomed. That's what I love. that's the that's the energy I love right there.
Yeah, I completely understand it. I completely understand it, but it feels like almost the dark humor is a way to placate others, get others to enjoy being around you and kind of make other people feel comfortable when you are going through the utmost discomfort. And it honestly is a way to avoid a lot of really difficult conversations.
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately, I feel like I'm my funniest when I am depressed, stressed out, going through some of the worst like probably mental health crises. That's when I'm the fortunately seriously when I'm the most like funny is when I'm cracking the most jokes because I'm like if I can boost out this energy and other people laugh, great, fantastic. I'm glad they feel that. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. I do that a lot, I feel like.
Yeah. And using dark humor to connect with others doesn't deny the darkness that is in the present situation, but it's an attempt to connect on a more superficial level in a situation
Yeah.
where we feel the opportunity or desire to connect on a deeper level is not present. And it's a way to help us feel connected when, trauma, most isolating, you feel extremely alone.
Hmm.
And that's genuinely the whole purpose of this podcast, is to destigmatize talking about trauma
Oh yeah.
and change the whole term trauma dumping to something healthier and more mutually beneficial. Because if we start to actively talk about these things and take the judgment out of it, and the criticism and the contempt and the hate,
Yeah.
we can really start to heal ourselves, and others can feel healed as well.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I agree with that 1000%. Because I feel like there isn't a way that you couldn't connect to someone in some sort of aspect with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, why do you personally think people hate what they don't understand?
Hmm. I feel like, oh man, I feel like they are told to hate what they don't understand. I feel like it's more like I mean, I guess we could segue into like religion right now,
Yeah.
literally. Um, because I mean, you see so many things with religion right now where it's just like, if you ain't a certain way, bye, goodbye. And it's just so much like hate towards certain groups. I mean, you see hate towards the LGBTQ community every day, every day. I think it's definitely learned behavior, because it's like we're taught to fear the unknown, and I feel like with fear comes a little bit of hatred.
Mm,
I feel like that's like hand in hand almost for some reason.
yeah.
Oh, I hate that. I'm scared of that. I hate that. Just like me with heights. Scared of that, hate that. I mean, if we want to put it in more like terms of that aspect, but like
Yeah.
when it comes to like people in general, I feel like there's a lot of hate and stuff like that towards the LGBTQ community, because it's a lot of unknown things. People don't know, they don't do their research. They think that this is just like a chosen pathway or lifestyle, and it's just like, why are you doing that? No, no one's choosing anything. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I feel like me as a person, I don't gravitate towards like hating something. I learn to like, I don't know, I feel like I just learn about stuff before I pass a
Hmm.
judgment. You know what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. And you were talking about religion earlier. I grew up in a very Christian Baptist household.
Oh Lord.
And my papa, my grandfather, was a deacon at First Baptist Dallas. He was also a professor at Dallas Baptist University in theology. So
Good. He knew it.
he knew it.
Yeah.
But I will say this about my papa. Um, he would tell me all the time to read my Bible, but also read the Torah, read the Quran, read the Hindu religious texts, because he didn't just teach Christian theology. He taught all of the theologies.
Yeah.
And he wanted us to be informed about what we believe and what we don't believe, and be able to stand for what you believe and give an account. And he would always quote saying that, even the demons know the Bible, even the demons will like use verses against you. You need to blah, 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 know how to combat it. And I'm deconstructing from religion hard. And he's passed away. My my mother's father, my father, and my papa all died within a year. And it was like a mass exodus almost of all the men in my life. That was traumatic.
Oh my God, I bet.
But it led me to a lot of self-discovery of, okay, do I just believe all these things because these men in my life have told me so? Have told me
Yeah.
that this is the right thing or this is the right way? And essentially, yeah, that
So yes.
I just wanted to, be told what to do because that's how I was raised, to do what I was told and to respect the men in the household. And with my Mochi is jiggling the camera, sorry. With
No,
my
you're fine.
fiance, he was the first man that I had, ever been in a relationship who actively asked for my input and told me all the time, well, you can make a decision for yourself. You don't need my permission. Because I, like, without knowing, I would always ask his permission for things. And he'd be like, you don't need my permission. I'm not your authority. I'm your equal. Okay. We can
That's
have
like,
discussion.
oh.
I know it was like,
Yeah. Hello? What? What?
yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
was like, huh?
Yeah.
What? This doesn't make any sense. And he's not religious. He's an atheist. And dude, he's an amazing, amazing man. But I don't know. I'd only dated men, like I've dated women, but I only dated men that were religious or said that they wanted to be like head of household and lead their family in a God honoring way, blah, 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 blah.
Like,
And
girl, sorry.
I was a good Christian child. And genuinely, I look back on little me and I feel so bad for her.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I feel so bad for the manipulation, the coercion, the everything. They talk about these Christians say, oh, they're indoctrinating our kids in them schools. Or they're indoctrinating, or the LGBTQIA are indoctrinating our kids. No,
Yeah.
sir. No, ma'am. They're no religion. That's indoctrination. Look at like the root of the word. Doctrine is a religious belief. A doctorate is to say that you have the like standard of knowledge on a specific topic. Indoctrination is to be, instructed upon a specific subject, and it's usually pertaining to religion. There aren't drag queens going up to children and telling them everything about, like for instance, pegging or something like that.
Right.
That's not happening.
Never. Would
They're
never
not
happen.
they're not teaching kids how to be gay.
Right.
Like
Teach
if a
love and acceptance, which is amazing. Please.
exactly. And if anything, if a child resonates with, that queer joy and wants to start expressing themselves in that way, that's not indoctrination. That's just, someone becoming who they were meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing of, you know, like as a little girl, I was always told by my mom that she couldn't wait for my wedding.
Yeah.
And she is not fucking invited, first off. And secondly, like
Period.
it feels like she just wanted that felt like indoctrination of like you need to be a wife and the best day of your life is going to be your wedding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this online, but there is this pastor, he's in Texas, and he was talking about ladies, let him have his wedding night. You got the wedding day, but he gets to have his wedding night. And
I did not see that.
bro, I threw up, legitimately started to throw up. I'm not even kidding about that. I threw up. I felt really sick to my stomach and I had a severe migraine and I could
Fair.
not function for a little bit because that triggered something within me so deep And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm. I've seen like those like pastors and stuff on TikTok, and they're like saying some wild shit right now. During COVID, dude, yeah, everybody was doing like online preaching. Well, there was this like line that churches were crossing bad when it came to like politics and COVID and shit like that. So I would listen on Sundays. Big board, okay, during COVID, big board. I would listen in on Sundays to these pastors preaching, and I would turn them into the IRS. I got kickbacks on
Queen.
that. Yeah, no, you're mixing politics and religion, turn you into the IRS, period. And it
Wow.
was
So
all
cool.
online, so you had your evidence right there as well.
That's so awesome. Wow.
Bad. It was really, really bad. Like in my small town, like there's like one church in particular that is like low key a mega church in my small town. And so like they got bad off on talking about like politics and stuff during like COVID and all their sermons. And it's like, where's this like where's the line? Where was it? Where is it gone? Because I feel like you see all this like religion coming into like Congress and shit too. And that's like getting kind of a little bit disturbing.
A little
You
bit
know, like fucking
dystopian.
like yeah, it's very weird. Like the whole like abortion stuff. And it's like, oh man, that goes into so much. Religion like really has its ways of like weaving into places it really doesn't need to. And it's crazy. And it's like it's seen as this thing, like, oh my God, I'm probably about to get off topic a little bit. Sorry. But like religion-based recovery, that doesn't make, first off, there doesn't need to be religion in recovery at all. There doesn't
Mhm.
need to be some like Christian, oh, you need to do right by God and you'll heal yourself and be saved and you won't have an addict anymore. Like you won't be an addict anymore. Please stop. We aren't doing recovery and Christianity together. There doesn't need to be that. But yeah, that's like people in their most vulnerable state and you're bringing religion into it, which is again, you're manipulating them because they are in their most vulnerable states.
And that just unlocked something in my brain. Do you know, like, Newsboys, God's Not Dead, He's Surely Alive? They made like
Yeah.
a whole movie, like My God's Not Dead, and the whole movie was an atheist, like professor of some sort, arguing the non-existence of God, and then he got hit by a car, and then the end of the movie is someone evangelizing to him, and he suddenly accepts Jesus into his life before he dies. Talk about like evangelizing to someone at their weakest moment
Yeah,
with
literally
so
life
much
and death
fear.
situation. Yeah, like what the I can't deal with that. And it's like that shit drives me nuts. And even thinking about me, little me back in church, I was raised Southern Baptist too. Right there with you. That shit is deep. My papa was also a deacon. My uncle was a deacon. Like everyone was a fucking deacon. And my mom worked like for the church. So she was like in the nursery. So we were there every Sunday, Sunday night and Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
all the time. I mean, it was constant. And I can't even tell you, like, just going through normal depression as a teenager and like going to church and they're preaching to you and they're saying, and it's always like the most pointed shit that's like vague enough to like grab you at your worst. And they're like, come on down to the pulpit and like tell me all your sins. And you're just sitting there sobbing, but really you just need like antidepressants and a doctor's visit, probably, not God.
And just someone to talk to.
Literally, like, please. But yeah, no, sobbing on fucking brother blank shoulder, and I'm just like, oh, everything's a mess. I didn't need to be sat down and talked to about my stuff by them because it was all like back to God. If you just put your faith in God, everything will get better. What do you mean? Everything's terrible.
Yeah, and genuinely, like, chalking everything in life up to God is really what fucked me up, to be quite honest. When COVID happened and I was forced to move back home from college into my abusive home, my dad wasn't abusive, but my mother had abused me my entire life. that when they announced, like I graduated with my BA in theater. So I was in a rehearsal room and we were about to put on a really big musical. And I was so overjoyed, so excited. And I was one of the, you know, background characters for the first time in my entire theatrical career. So I was excited for less responsibility, number one, and to sing chorus, number two, because I found that so exciting.
Yes.
And I got the call that, from my dad saying that I had to come home, but my mom said I wasn't allowed to be in my bedroom because she had already turned it into her office and she didn't want a little COVIDite, that's what she called me, a COVIDite in her house. So my dad was like, well, you got to sleep in the RV. Um, and I bursted into tears
I mean, yeah, it's a whole
in,
ass pandemic.
yeah.
What do
But
you
I
mean?
wasn't crying about, the pandemic. I was crying about I have to go home now. I have to be their slave again because my entire childhood, all the cooking, all the cleaning, dishes, laundry, everything for my entire family, and I have siblings, everything. And my mother was a hoarder. So it was
Oh, oh,
constant hoarder to the point where she had a 4-horse barn full of shit, full of stuff. And those big trailers on the back of semis, the
oh, the
containers,
containers? Yeah,
that was in
dude.
our backyard too. So
My dad has one. He's also a hoarder. It's fine. I get it. I
it's
get
insane. But I was struggling so hard and crying so hard. And one of the I think she was an assistant director. One of the assistant directors was like, "Why are you crying? We'll just be gone for 2 weeks. Why are you crying?" And I was like, "No, I have to be near my mother." And she was like, "Oh, that can't, you're being dramatic." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I am not being dramatic. I have to be near my mother." And then that happened, I think February, March, June. 3 days before my birthday, my dad was hit by a car in our front yard. It ran off the road in our front yard, hit by a car. And he suffered from a very severe brain injury. In the hospital. It was during COVID, so we weren't allowed to go see him. My mom was the only one allowed to go see him. And so she decided that she didn't want to be a mom anymore. So she cut me and my siblings off, like completely financially, took us off the health insurance, the car insurance, the phone plan, everything. And so I had to be parent and provide for my siblings and go into my savings to provide for them. And it was just one shit after the other shit after the other shit. And then what really irked me was hearing all the time that God has a plan and God was going to heal my
it.
dad. And this would be like such a great testimony.
Yeah.
That fucked me up like
Mm.
completely. Because I was like,
Yeah.
God has a plan for this.
Yeah.
So all
Literally.
the abuse that I'm suffering is because God has a plan. So he's making me suffer or I'm supposed to suffer.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when I finally start to, get better, get some, not success in the sense of like, oh, I'm famous, but success in the sense of I'm helping people and I'm sharing my story and I have a creative outlet and I own my own business and I
Yeah.
now have a house with my fiance. Success in that sense of people are like, oh, God is blessing you. Like, bitch, no. This
I did
this
all
is
this work.
me.
This is
This is
all me. Yeah. No, I get it. Oh my God. No, that shit pisses me off too. That's literally, dude, that is literally what happened to me. That's like why I quit going to church. Like that was it. That was it. They told me that God had a plan after I went through all my bullshit. And I just was like, they set me in the middle of youth group, bro, in a chair and literally pointed at me like I was an example and said God was using me. I was like, I'm done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all
yeah.
this suffering, all this shit that we're going through, no way. Get out of here with that. Stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I hate that.
And I relate so hard to that as well because I went to First Baptist when I was in like early high school. And I, at 15, was raped in the church bathroom by an 18-year-old. And I had told, my youth group leader, who is also like the head of the young women's like ministry, I told her what happened. And she was like, well, why were you at church after hours? I'm like, because my papa's a deacon and I'm here. I don't have, what do you mean? She was
What a
like,
question to ask.
what a question to ask. And then she's like, well, I'm so sorry you went through that. We'll make sure that he never comes back here again. He did come back, but I would never sat by him, never spoke to him. I didn't really recognize what happened until I got older, but I just knew I had been betrayed. I knew that something had happened to me, but I didn't even know what sex was. Let's be honest. I didn't. I really
Yeah.
didn't. I just knew something happened to me. And then after he had like graduated high school, she used like our story. She said, some people in this congregation, she used it like at a sermon to talk about why women should be careful who they're with. And she quoted like something from Esther. And I lost my mind. And I told my mom and dad, I was like, I'm never coming back. I'm never coming back. You
Yeah.
can't make me. I will go screaming. And so we moved churches. We moved to a whole new church, which was
Yeah.
fine. It wasn't as bad. It was a non-denominational church, but I was just seething. And I can't even think, I don't know if I've ever had, real hate in my heart, but I think I got pretty damn close to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree with that. That will definitely do it.
Mm-hmm.
Using your story as a fucking here, this is why. Fuck you. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And
That's
if
awful.
we think about like religion and hatred, they often go hand in hand because when religion doesn't understand something or cannot control something,
It's
they have,
immediately devil's work, first off. Immediately devil's work, immediately hate. Like, fuck off. Like, it's immediately that. And it's like, y'all created this whole thing. Please stop.
mm-hmm,
Devil's work, we don't like that. Stop.
mm-hmm,
Quit.
exactly.
Like, that's their catalyst. And it's like, you all create, first off, y'all created the devil. You created the devil. Stop making him your fucking catalyst for stuff. Quit it.
Or saying that mental illness is demons.
Oh, oh my God. That is the first off, absurd shit. Absurd. These people should not be talking on anything when it comes to like mental health, stuff like that. They really shouldn't. Because like, and also too, there was a time where like I went to a Pentecostal church and people speaking in tongues all around you, shit like that. And it's like, y'all want to talk about demon shit. This is scary. It's scary right now. Y'all are scaring me. I went maybe twice and that was it. But yeah, no, it's always something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They
It
always want
is.
to demonize something, and it's always something that they don't understand or not willing to understand because I don't know. I feel like again too, it comes with like the old people in the church, the older generations. You don't talk about stuff like that. It's like you don't talk about mental health. You don't talk about feelings or like liking other people that are same sex. You didn't talk about stuff like that. It was always
Mm-hmm.
so like that within religion too. I mean, that's all it's all in the same.
Mm-hmm. And Andrew Smith says that people fear what they don't understand and hate what they can't conquer.
That part. There you go. There it is right there. That's literally it.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to like bringing this all back to mental health and taking it outside of religion, I've noticed that a lot of people that struggle with mental health will have so much hatred for others that also are struggling but are actively talking about it.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that could be a lot of like resentment as far as maybe they don't have the sources to speak about that or like a safe place to go and talk about stuff like that. So I feel
Hmm.
like that because I've been there. I've been there. I've been there as fuck. So like, I used to be like I used to hold everything in, not talk about anything ever. And then, you have these people that are like, "Oh, I went to therapy and it was so nice." It's like, "Fuck you. I can't afford that. I'll just go cry about it later." Like, so I used to do that too. Like I used to be that way. And then eventually found out that, helping yourself and finding the resources and wanting to do better and, growth in general as a person is big. So yeah, I
Hmm.
was able to work through that. But no, I was definitely one of those people. 1000%.
Yeah. And I know it's really common for a lot of people in their early teens to early 20s to early 30s to really struggle with sense of self and to really struggle with, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with me, and start to hate that part of themselves so deeply and have so much animosity for themselves because we're not equipped to do things on our own. We're social
Yeah.
creatures. We're supposed to have community. We're supposed to ask for help. We're supposed to, live in tribes and do things with one another. Never before have we been so isolated.
Oh
And
yeah.
so
We're
when
all
we're
so separated.
also what?
We're all so separated right now. Like everyone.
Hmm.
There's so much separation with so many things, even mental health, politics, religion, this and that. Everyone is so separated that we can't even communicate properly anymore. It's
Hmm.
bad.
And it's not taught to us.
No, not at all.
And that's what really sets us up for failure is when we need to communicate. We have all these feelings and we don't have the language or the, you know, understanding of how to recognize, okay, there's a problem. Let me get help for said problem. Because the way that we were raised, if we think about these like past generations, they have gone through extensive trauma themselves. They've gone through a lot
Oh my God.
and they couldn't talk about it. They didn't have the resources to talk about it. So when their kids go through something that may not be as much, but is still a lot for that child, they don't know how to deal with it because they're like, your problem is so little compared to my huge problem. Get over it. I can't tell you how many times that I've been told by my grandparents to just get over it, or that I'm being dramatic, or that, my papa would say, well, I walked a couple miles with no shoes. And that's true. He grew up in Jamaica in a very impoverished island whose grandparents were slaves. Yeah, he he went through some shit.
Hmm. Right.
I'm not negating that, but he could never hold space for one of his grandchildren or even his children, his four boys, to say, you're hurting me, or I need help, or I want you to love me. He couldn't hold space for someone else's needs.
Yeah. 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 I feel like the whole like gender roles as well comes into play with that because like the whole men don't cry type of stuff. We don't show emotions. We're just stone cold whatever. First off, goodbye. That's so old fashioned, not even a thing anymore. But like that's just taught behavior. It's all learned. And that gets passed down and passed down and passed down. And it's like who's going to break that? Who's going to stop that? Until
Mm.
then, it's just going to keep on happening. Um but yeah, that I've noticed that quite a bit with plenty of men in my family as well.
And not being able to hold space for another person's emotions. And
Mhm.
you know, that's also where we got to start to unlearn the hatred and unlearn the biases and, learn how to effectively communicate with one another, especially when we're struggling. And the one thing that my dad told me all the time when I was growing up is like, you can ask for help. And when you ask for help, the worst thing anyone can say is no, but you'll
Yeah.
still be in the same position you were in before. You're not any worse off.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me my entire life and has honestly made me very resilient because rejection isn't a negative thing all the time. I feel like we think of consequences, rejection, as such a ego hit, like such a, I don't know, a driving factor for self-deprecation. And it really isn't.
It really shouldn't be at all.
And now as I'm an adult and I'm, you know, actively trying to connect with other people as much as possible and reach out, I am genuinely really proud of myself and of the people that I've started to build friendships with, even though, it's on a screen most of the time because people live far away.
Right.
It's it's so encouraging to hear stories of people and comprehend what they have gone through and just provide that ear for them because it's really cathartic. It really helps.
Yeah, it does.
And it makes me glad to be here. I feel like that's part of, I don't want to bring religion into it, but I feel like that's part of my purpose is to connect with other people and just share with other people. And I feel like that's a human purpose, this connection.
Yeah, your purpose doesn't have to be or feel like it should be religion based. You can have a whole purpose, and that's just connecting to people, saving a space for people, being this nice, solid person to like talk to and bounce stuff off of. That could be it. That's great. That's awesome. That just means you're a great person. And I feel like that's like so nice to have and to offer to others as well. Um, because like it took me so long to be a good person, if that makes sense. Because even like I feel like when I went through my trauma, I was young. I was 14 whenever it happened. So I was in middle school when it first all started. Um, I was hateful. I was fucking hateful. I was not, I mean, I had like a small group of friends, but we were all just like, we were the mean kids, to be honest with you. I picked on people. I was mean. I was terrible. And no joke, my mamaw died, my Grammy. I love that woman. And I remember one day I was sitting at lunch, and this is what changed it. I'm not even joking. It was the craziest shit. I was sitting at lunch one day and I was about to pick on this girl. Her name was Brittany. And I hear my grandma's voice in my ear, plain as day, and it was like, you need to treat others how you want to be treated. And it was just like before I was about to say some like mean thing, I heard it and I was like, ooh. And from that day forward, I was like, oh, I am changed. It scared the shit out of me because like it was maybe like my Grammy was maybe dead like a week, a week max. And I was about to talk my shit and she said, mm-mm, treat others how you want to be treated. And I was like, oh, okay. So from that day forward, I've been a completely different person. I have strived to be better. I've strived to be a safe place for people. I've strived and went through so much fucking therapy. Dear Lord. Like it was a struggle big time. But yeah.
Mm-mm.
It's my mammal in my fucking head.
Yeah.
Me to be a better person. But yeah, don't believe in God, don't believe in religion, but my mammal was definitely in my ear that day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, kitty.
Hey Bonnie. Hey Miss Girl. She's like, I gotta look out the window. Oh, come here.
Cute.
Oh my God, she's crazy. Don't scream. She's like, I'm gonna scream about everything now.
This is precious. You know,
But no, I used to be very, very hateful. But it was literally because I was in so much pain. And I know that sounds like so like no excuse. You know what I'm saying? No excuse. I should have knew better to treat people better. I should have knew better to um not be so emotionally forward and not think about how I treated other people first. But yeah, it was definitely I was going through so much pain. I had no outlet. I didn't know how to fix anything. I didn't have any type of like counseling. I didn't have anything to help me through any of that. It was just kind of like this happened to you that sucks. Wipe it underneath, switch, put it underneath the rug, be quiet about it.
hmm.
So yeah, I didn't it was crazy. Crazy time.
And
So it took a lot
from,
of growth as an adult and having adult money to be able to help myself. Because there wasn't resources whenever I was young like that.
yeah, I mean, I completely understand that. And from a psychological standpoint, hate is a secondary emotion. It's a learned response from personal experiences, conditioning, ugh, social
Social
conditioning,
conditioning.
and cognitive processes. It's a learned
Yeah,
response. It's an intense aversion or hostility towards someone or something, and it involves strong negative emotional responses and includes the desire to harm, devalue, or exclude something or someone. And it sucks. It's a secondary emotion, though. It's not a primary emotion. The primary emotions are anger, fear, disgust, which are fundamental to evolution and adaptation.
right.
We need to feel anger. Like when we're wronged, we need to feel anger so that we
Yeah,
can go through that and let people know that, hey, that wasn't okay. We need fear to keep ourselves alive, to recognize when there's danger. And we need disgust in a social situation. So if, say, one of our members of society murders or hurts another member, we feel that disgust and we can deal with that, person.
right.
And hate is that secondary emotion that isn't evolutionarily necessary at all. It's not necessary. It's just
Right.
something that we learn.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
because I mean, I don't know. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
no, it's okay. Continue.
I don't know. I feel like it's definitely it could be unlearned. It could be untaught. It could be instead of hate being so I feel like yes, it is secondary, but I feel like it's gotten to the point of like it's so it's come so natural to people that it's scary. You know what I'm saying? Like hatefulness and hate in general just comes so natural to some people it's just terrifying a little bit. Um and I don't know. I think that's weird.
Hmm. I understand where you're coming from. Of now it's more of a primary emotion because it kind of comes natural to a lot of people now,
Mhm.
which, talk about the internet. Internet has some hateful ass bitches on there.
Oh my God, the internet is so hateful. The internet's crazy. Yeah, the internet's wild. We didn't, okay, first off, I'm 32. I don't know if anybody else knew that. I get mistaken as like a mid-20s person all the time. I grew up where like the internet was just coming in. So like a lot of it was unrestricted. So some of the shit that I saw growing up on the internet, you cannot find anymore. Like it was absurd, unfiltered shit. And like, yeah, the internet has been scary since day one. Day one. It's wild.
Yeah. I keep thinking of Bo Burnham's Welcome to the Internet. His song. It's pretty good.
Uh, inside, or what is it called? What was the
Inside
name
is
of it? It almost said Inside Out. That's Pixar. But yeah, that's accurate. So accurate. Miss Girl, please. Oh my God. You're so crazy. She's got spaghetti sauce on her nose. I need you to be so for real right now. Messy girl.
So let's go through some emotions real quick too, because we also, if anybody
Oh
wants
my
to stick
God.
around, we have our emotion wheel, and I spin it every week to learn like a new emotion, how it correlates to trauma. But
Love.
of these main emotions, we have fear, anger, disgust, sadness, happiness, and surprise. So those are the main emotions, right? And then what spews off from them are the overlapping. So if you have a mixture of anger and fear, you can feel humiliated or embarrassed, right?
Gotcha.
And anger is a temporary emotional response to a perceived provocation or threat. It involves feelings of frustration, irritation, or resentment. And a specific incident can prompt it, and it may dissipate once the situation is resolved. While hate is a deep seated and often much more long lasting. And then dislike is a milder negative emotion towards someone or something. It's more of a lack of positive feelings without the intense hostility associated with hate. Dislike can be based on personal preferences, differences in opinion, or minor irritations. And then love. Love is often viewed as the opposite of hate, but that's not really true. You can have a love-hate relationship with a lot of things, right? You can have love-hate relationships with food. You can have love-hate relationships with, say, your boyfriend. You have love-hate relationships with your dog. Like you love petting your dog, but you hate picking up your dog's shit, right? Like
Right. Right.
it's it's really interesting that a lot of people are like, oh, love is like the opposite of hate, where in reality they're two sides of the same coin because they're super strong emotions. Love is usually positive, hate is usually
Right.
negative, but it's like they're two sides of the same coin. And it's love, an intense positive emotion, an affinity for something or someone, while hate is an intense negative emotion and a strong aversion or hostility towards something or someone. And do you like those romance comedies where it's a love-hate relationship? Because I eat that shit up. I
Yes,
love it.
always. Oh my God. Yes, I watched hold on, what was it? Reese Witherspoon. She like moves to this town, she hates this guy, and then they fall in love. It's every rom-com. Every rom-com. She's like, hate your guts, fall in love. You're not that
Mhm.
bad after all. I love those.
I love them as well. And then we got to get into apathy. Apathy is indifference. It's a lack of emotional connection or concern, and it's better viewed as the opposite of both love and hate. So apathy is the opposite. And I want people to understand apathy can also be a huge coping mechanism of when you feel just too overwhelmed with something over and over and over, your brain genuinely will turn off any emotion towards that thing and you will get apathetic. And apathy can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with the rise of, social media, a lot of people have become increasingly apathetic towards a lot of things
Oh
that
yeah.
if they were faced with that in like person in reality, like what's happening with Gaza, if they were faced with that, they would not be as apathetic as they are, you know.
Yeah. You see a lot of people um and like it's just dude, I feel like our generation has just seen trauma after trauma after trauma after so much trauma, dude, that we are just so like cold to it and just numb. We're just like, whatever. Another school shooting. And it's like, you shouldn't be like that. What do you mean? That's crazy. To have this, like, oh, okay, what are we going to do now, guys? Let's say our prayers about it, but there's no like movement as far as like regulations or anything. It's like, it's so wild. But yeah,
Hmm.
everybody's just so like desensitized to stuff. And
Exactly.
we have so much access to everything all at once, always. And so, we're seeing all this stuff up front real time, and it's just like, okay, and what? It's like, why are we like this? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. We never before in history do we have so much access to, knowledge, and
Mhm.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think a lot of people just want someone to tell them what to hate, what to love, what to rage about, what to be angry about, because we have such an
No.
influx of whatever that it's just overwhelming. And I think that's why Trump got so popular, was not because he is a great man by any fucking means, but he was strong in his convictions and he got people on his side by, just talking about it and not accepting input from anyone else. And so a lot of people very misguidedly saw that and were like, hell yeah, that's what I want. It's like, oh,
He pandered to the fucking, oh my gosh, he pandered to like the worst community. And he knew he
mhm.
would get his ends with that. And that's what he did. And it's like he ran with that. He's not any type of like political person. He's just like this person who knows how to entertain. And that's what he did. He entertained a whole fucking group of people that are awful. And it's like it went crazy. It went absurd. Like you just hear nothing but Trump all the time. And it's just like, what is this? It's turned into I don't even know. What is the word? It's like an idol. That's what it's turned into, big time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's also why religion is also such a driving factor, is it tells people what to do. And my dad had this analogy of, he was like, there are three different types of people in general. There are sheeple, there are people that want to be led and want to have a great time. And, they want to be a part of the crowd. So they'll hate whatever the crowd hates, they'll love whatever the crowd loves. They just want to fit in. Then
Right.
there are wolves. Those are the ones that take advantage of the sheeple, will steer them in the wrong direction, will pick off the weakest people, and will influence the sheeple to hate maybe some of the other sheep. And then there are the sheepdogs. Sheepdogs protect the flock, guide the flock, make sure the flock is, fed, taken care of, supported, loved. And he would tell me all the time, he was like, I want you to be a sheepdog. Like, legitimately, he would tell me all the
Mhm.
time. It's like, be a
Yeah.
sheepdog, because they have agency. They have the ability to know right from wrong. And dogs learn. He would tell me all the time. He's like, dogs learn. Sheep follow a crowd, follow a herd. They're not smart. He's like, they're not smart. They just do whatever the others are doing. So they will literally walk off cliffs and die because they saw another sheep walk off a cliff and die. He's like,
Hmm.
you need to have agency and you need to protect and love and care for other things. And I want to take that and run with it, especially when it comes to mental health and unlearning, hatred and resentment and anger. And I know a lot of people like talking about, oh, soft girl era, whatever.
Hmm.
I don't want to be a soft nothing. I want to be resilient. I want to feel empowered, and I want to have compassion and empathy for others and be like a dog, because dogs don't love their owners blindly. I hate this notion that dogs follow and love their owners blindly. No, I've had dogs
Mhm.
my entire life. My dogs will fucking be rebellious if I do something they don't like.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
They have, I feel like so many people should start to accept the way, dogs accept and love and cherish. And I think that would honestly be such a better place if we just all loved like doggies love. Because
Yeah,
doggies can go through so much abuse and mistreatment and then recover. Like, there are no bad dogs. There's just bad owners. I'm a big believer in that.
yeah, yeah, big time. I agree with that. Um, I do want to go back on the soft girl era thing. I say
Yeah.
that a lot. I say that a lot. I'm in my soft girl era. I've been in my resilient and hardened and just like pent up shit for so long that I'm like, I am in my soft girl era. I'm in my sweet loving, sweet honey, angel baby era. Like everyone is like, I will love you and I will guide you and I will help you through anything. But yeah, I'm done with the I love that you are, you are so strong and you're resilient and this and that. I I am just like I'm done being tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. I had to be tough and I had to do that for so long by myself even that it's just like I don't want to do that no more. I don't want to be tough anymore. I want to cry about stuff and be okay to cry about it with my friends or like whatever. Like I'm definitely I feel like I'm in my soft girl era in my early 30s now. We've gone through so much. I'm like I'm here. We've done it, baby. We could be
Mm-hmm.
soft now. We can relax.
Maybe I'll hit my soft girl era in my 30s, but I feel like I'm 23 now. I'll be 24 in June. I feel like I still have to fight a
Yes.
lot.
And that's how I felt at your age too, honest to God. That's how I felt. Like I was a young mom too. I'm a single
Mm,
mom. So like I feel like I had to fight my demons and all my sins and everything else that I went through young and then, single mom, I had to fight through all that and do all this and now like in my 30s it's like I've had my lessons. I've done my therapy. I've done my work. I can finally just be okay with where I am and what I'm doing and who I am. I could be soft now. I could be here I am. This is it. And I feel like you definitely will probably feel that in your 30s for sure because like your 20s are no joke. That's a battle. That's a
mm-hmm.
battle. You're learning about who you are. You're trying to find out who you are, what you want, this and that out of life. And it took me so long to like get out of the church norms and find out who I am as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? That took years. Up until like I want to say 2020 is really what solidified everything and where I made a turn as who I am as a person. Um, but yeah, that took years to like unlearn all sorts of shit.
Why did
So,
2020 change you?
oh my God, it changed me bad because we didn't have anything. There wasn't any I feel like there was no rules. There was no rules. There wasn't no one that was going to judge you for what you were doing at the time because no one was going anywhere and doing anything. There was no expectations. There was no nothing. There was nothing. So like all you had to do, I mean, I got laid off during 2020. So like I literally didn't have a job and I was living off of those those stimmy checks. So
Mm,
stimmy checks, I had all the time in the world to find out who the hell I was. I
mm.
lived my best life. COVID pandemic money, I was living my best life. I had my unemployment stimmies. I had all this time. I was out here like figuring out what type of clothes I liked. I had all this time to do all of that and not have to worry about any type of pressure from anyone on anything. That's all you had was time during COVID. So to
Yeah.
sit and reflect, and like there was a point where like obviously you couldn't go visit anyone. I am so close with my mom. I love my mom bad. So like
Mm.
not being able to go see her and like talk to her in person, I hated that part. Um, but like literally you are alone. I was
Yeah.
alone during COVID and it was like the most isolating, like awful time, but also groundbreaking and most like, oh my God, this is who I want to be. Who gives a shit what anybody else thinks? Because like, no joke, I thought the world was ending. I live really close to Army base, and so like we had all these like rumors going around that the army was like shutting down the state and this and that. So I was like, all right, cool, the world's ending. This is great. So I literally all I had was time. I didn't give a shit about anything. And so I literally was living for myself and my son, and I was having a blast. So that's when I was figuring out who I was, what I liked, and what I liked to do. It's crazy. It was the
Mm.
most stressful, but also crazy, enlightening time for real.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that of just you finally have time to just sit with yourself.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had, literally.
Hmm.
Like once I lost my job, um, that's it. I sat for a year in my house
Mm.
and just like myself and my son and my dog and really like, who am I? What am
Yeah.
I doing? What is this? It was really eye-opening for real.
Yeah.
There's some things for sure that COVID was not the best, obviously, but there was some definitely in my life, some parts of COVID where I just very kind of low key grateful for the time to be able to be by myself and be with my family.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel that as well. I was in college when COVID started, so I had to come home. And the one good thing about that before my dad was hit by the car was being able to be with my dad all day.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
bet
that
that
was
was
a blessing. I love my daddy.
mm-hmm.
It's sad, man. I
I
can't
know.
can't negate it. It's just sad. It's such a loss because I'm getting married next year and I was talking to my brothers about it and I was like, this is just so sad.
Yeah. Have you like put one of them in, not necessarily in his place, but like to walk you down the aisle and
My
like
brother is one of my brothers. Yeah. Yeah.
that's cute. I love that.
He's gonna do it. And then the other brother is gonna kind of be a ring bearer because the dogs are ring bearer, Gigi and Mochi. So he's gonna
Yeah.
be walking the dogs. So both my brothers are involved. So
I love that. I love that. That's really good. I know it's not in comparison. I know you'd rather for sure to have your dad here, but it's
yeah.
so nice to have, your siblings to step up like that for you. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's really sweet.
And I'm very proud of the men that they are becoming slowly,
Yeah.
but they're getting there. And I see like the incremental changes every time I see them because they're both in college and they're both hours away. But whenever
Yeah.
I saw them for Easter, like, you're shaping up nicely. And they looked at me like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what? Am I not
Oh
allowed
my
to
God.
say something like
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Growing up, okay? I changed your diapers. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know. They're getting older. It's also kind of scary to watch your siblings age.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's weird. It's so weird. It's
It-
very odd. Or
because
you were the oldest, correct?
yes, yes, I'm
Oh
the
my gosh.
oldest.
So they were like your babies, basically.
I have so many pictures of me like holding them like this.
Oh, that's so
So it is so weird because I feel like I've looked the same since I was 15. I haven't really changed like at all. At all, at all. And they're drastically changing. They have facial hair. Ah,
That's
what?
so wild. What the hell? Take that mustache off. I know it's fake.
Yes, exactly.
Quit it.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
no, that's wild.
Yeah, I bought my youngest brother, who is about to be 19 this month. I bought him like what's it called? Like the razor thing, because he has like a soul patch. I like
Oh,
shaved
yeah.
it off right now. That's disgusting. Shave it off. Shave it off.
Don't do the soul patch. Please don't.
I think it's the only thing that he can grow right now. It's like
I love that.
he's
Hey,
so proud of it.
yes, if that's all he could grow, be proud of it, honey. He's going to end up with like just right here, really long.
Oh no.
Ah, I love that.
Oh, it's so bizarre. It's so
That is
bizarre.
weird. I'm the youngest of well, me and my brother. I have step siblings. But my brother's older than me and he's only 3 years older than me, but like we have grayed, our hair has grayed so fast. And so seeing him, he's again 3 years older than me and he's got peppered ass hair and it's so gray and it's like, dude, what the hell is happening to us? What's happening? Ah! I want to scream about it. It's so crazy because it's like I don't feel like I am 32. And sometimes I wonder if maybe like the trauma of it all has maybe stifled how I feel about myself, maybe. But I'm like, I still feel like maybe I am like in the 23 era,
Mhm.
22s,
Mhm.
not 32. Certainly not. What are you talking about? Like, no, it's so wild to think about. But yeah,
Yeah.
seeing everybody around you, especially like I don't have younger siblings, but I have my nieces and nephews. So to see them and they're like getting their permits and stuff, I'm like, you better quit. What are you talking about? You ain't getting your permits. No way. But yeah, no, I feel it. It's so wild.
It is so wild. It is wild. And I was a nanny to 4 boys for 7 years, and I
Mhm.
raised them. I
Oh,
raised them.
yeah.
And I haven't been their nanny since last year. And I was calling their mama to check in on them, see how they're doing. And I hear the oldest one, he's 16. He's like, "Sup, Grace," in the most deep voice. I'm like, "Who is this?" He's like, "It's Avon."
Hello?
Like, what? And she's like, "Yeah, he can you believe it? He's driving." I'm like, "No, he's not. No, he
Yes.
is not."
Yeah, that's the craziest part to me. And to think about like I do this all the time, but like kids born in like the early 2000s, I'm like, they're able to drink right now? That doesn't make sense to me. You all aren't like 12 still?
Mhm. I was born in 2000.
Grace, listen. I think about this all the time. I'm like, there's no way these kids are old enough to be doing this. Like, they're have whole ass lives and fiancés and stuff. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
2000
crazy.
doesn't seem like it was that long ago at all.
I don't know. Gigi wants to say hello. My Gigi. Gigi, do you want to say hello? Come here, Gigi.
Oh my God, sweet
She's
Gigi.
stepping over this, and then Gigi, sit. Sit down. Okay, say
Oh
hello.
my goodness. Hello. Do you want to see my stink dogs?
Yes.
They've been dying for me to step out. They probably need a potty anyways. Follow me.
We're following. Animal cam. Everybody drink your
Animal camp.
water. Take a break.
This is where you hydrate.
Yep.
All right.
Hydrate.
So here's Wilson. Oh my God, she's immediately crazy. And then Pippa May. Hold on. Let me turn on some lights. It's dark out here. Where are you? Hi. Say hello, everyone. Oh my Lord. Wilson is a blue heeler and beagle mix. And then Pippa May, she's just a mutt. I don't know what she is. I got her at the pound. She's my big girl.
pound puppies are really great.
They were good.
Good. We had our good intermission.
Yes. Let me get this.
Everybody come back to the theater with your popcorn and your hot dogs and your
Come
soda.
back.
Come back. The show must continue.
Must go on.
So, what do you think of the saying, I transmute my pain into purpose?
Oh, bad. Because I feel like that's what we do.
Mm.
I use my pain as laughter to make other people laugh to feel good. Like I use all of that. Like you use yours to let people have this safe space to speak. I feel like it does do that.
Mm-hmm. It does. And talking about your dark humor, what made you want to start sharing stuff on TikTok?
That was honestly, I had one account. I had my first account. It was just called Bitch Fart, not 2.0. Started that during COVID, because like I felt so disconnected from everyone in general. So I was like, just need to reach anyone. So I started posting then in 2020 on TikTok, and then I got banned for violating guidelines per usual. But now I'm back. But yeah, just being able to connect with people is so great because I've made so many awesome friends with people like that are so similar to me, and it's like, oh my God, I have friends all over. So like being able to share my story or who I am as a person and being able to connect all around is so fun. I love that. I live for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I feel like you're creating a space for a lot of people who relate to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Because I've read like some of your comments, some of them are crazy, but like
Yeah.
others are really sweet. Like some of them
Yeah.
are really sweet.
I try to be really sweet on people because it's like you don't know what anybody's going through. And sometimes, like, yeah, you do get those hater comments and you're just like, man, whatever. But I feel like you could tell when someone's being genuine. And so you definitely want to offer them some time and space to be like, hey, everything's all good. You can come to me, be my friend. I don't care. Whatever you need, whatever you want. But yeah,
Mhm.
I wish to do the same that you do. Like to just be this safe spot for anyone and everyone to just be able to come to me, tell me what's wrong. I may not be able to help you, but I will listen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes that's all it takes for some people is if someone just listens and acknowledges what they're going through.
Yeah, bad. And you see so many people now, it's like, um, who said it? There was someone that was like, there's this pandemic going around where people listen to respond and not listen to understand.
Mhm.
And I feel like I see that and I deal with that all the time. Um, so to listen to people and to understand them so deeply is so like, I feel like that's so soothing for people.
Mm.
And so like, okay, yes, you do hear me, you do get it. Oh my God, Pippa May, now is not the time for me to hold you.
Well, why don't you hold her?
Like, what do you mean, actually?
Oh, there's babies in your lap.
Miss Girl.
It's the bebes. It's the bebes. And my babies are growling at each other. You can probably. Oh, goodness. How has your daily routine changed because of your experiences?
Um, I feel like, oof, yish. I feel like I'm really careful about my surroundings. I feel
Mhm.
like that's just something that I've started doing. I know everything what's going on around me at all times, and I feel like I really think about how people act around me. Hold on, let me close this door because Wilson's like crying. I put her in her cage.
Mm.
It's nighttime for her. She can't be trusted. I'm pretty sure she has pica. She just eats anything that she wants to eat. And I'm like, Miss Girl, please. Please. Anyways, I feel like I'm always checking my surroundings. I'm always like, I feel like my intuition is really good, or like being able to like, my gut feeling is like crazy now. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so I really rely on that a whole lot. And like, if I'm a really good judge of character, and I feel like that has to do with some of that as well. And it's like, if I feel safe with you and I feel good with you, then there's a reason. And if I don't feel safe or feel okay with you, then there's definitely a reason for that as well. And I will distance myself big time.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I get that 100% of like, I'm gonna distance myself if something is just, it doesn't feel right, because that has been me. That has been me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to start cutting out a lot of people who were using me essentially, because I show my name, undeserved love and kindness all the time. And my way of showing love is gift giving, but it
Yeah,
isn't just buying things for people. I make things like,
I do the same.
and I noticed I really go out of my way to be there for people who won't even, give me the time of day. And my fiance and I had to have like a really big discussion on that, of who we're gonna let into our lives, into our family unit,
Mm-hmm.
and what we're gonna do, because he and I are both chronic people pleasers, and
Yeah.
we got to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to stop.
I used to be really, really bad about people pleasing. Because I felt like I needed to be accepted, even though like I don't know why or where that came from, but also I do feel like it is deep rooted within the whole religious community because you wanted to be accepted and everything else within the church. So that was hard to unlearn as well. But I feel like people pleasing, it took a lot of boundaries. It took so many boundaries to get over that. Oh my God. And I feel like sometimes that's even hard to like stick to your guns on boundaries because sometimes I'm like, am I being a bitch? And it's like, no, not really. You're not. You're setting your boundaries, and if people keep crossing them, you're not being a bitch about it. People are being fucking not cool to you about your boundaries. And so that was like really hard to like, especially with your people pleasing behavior. It's like, okay, you aren't being the bitch. You need to really like hold yourself higher.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the only reason why people pleasers feel like they're being bitchy if they set boundaries is because someone made them feel previously that their boundaries weren't valid, or weren't
Yeah.
necessary, or weren't going to be respected.
Yep. There you go. There it is. Yeah, I think that's very accurate for sure. For sure. And so once I learned, and thank God through therapy, love you, um, that boundaries are so important. It really has like, and like you don't have to cut people off once you set boundaries because they kind of like fall off as they realize they can't get to you anymore like they could. So it kind of like helps itself. So like yeah, that was a big, big learning moment. Oh my God, it was so nice. Because like now it's just like this is what it is. I mean, take it or
Mm-hmm.
leave it. But
Exactly. Take it or leave it.
yeah,
And
literally.
I had to set a really big boundary with someone who I thought was my good friend, but she's not. Like, she was lying to my face and actively avoiding me, and would go hang out with, our mutual friends, and not invite me to things. And they would invite me, and then she would convince them to not invite me, and then play
What?
nice. Yeah, play nice to my face and say blah 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 blah. And I was just like, okay, bitch, bye-bye.
Yeah. Blah. Yeah, no, dude, that's crazy. Fuck that, first off. But yeah, no. But also too, I used to fucking play into that. I used to be there. Oh my God. Grace, I used to be there, honey.
Mm,
That shit sucks. That shit sucks to feel like excluded and you have this big group of friends and it's like, okay, what? Who was it me? What's happening here? And it's just like it makes you like doubt a lot of shit too.
yeah,
It's like I
yeah.
need reassurance and shit from y'all, but no, if they're treating you like that, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Those ain't
And
no friends.
and I don't know how I keep getting into these situations because I don't will myself into them. But in high school, I was in a similar situation where the friend group cut me off. And then we were all supposed to go to prom together, but they cut me off. So I was like, okay, bye, bitches. And so I made new friends and was going to go to prom with them.
Yeah.
And found out that someone who was very dear to me that was still part of the friend group was slowly getting iced out. I lost my shit. I got really mean to like the head bitch of the friend group. And I was
Hmm.
like, you can do this to me. You're not going to do this to her. You're not going to go to the place, the prom closet that she told you about without her. Are you fucking kidding me? I will slam
Yeah.
your head into concrete. How dare you?
I get so like it's so wild too because just to play off of that, I get so bent out of shape with other people being disrespected, but I will be disrespected over and over and over again and be like, it's okay. We can like redo this and rework this and go this way. But if someone else that I see is getting disrespected, honey, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. It's so crazy.
Yes, me too. I don't know. I think it might be like partly the big sister in me because I was taught by my dad to defend my brothers like it's to my dying breath.
Yeah.
They he was like, if you see your brothers getting bullied, what do you do? And he would tell me like, you punch them in the face, you
Yeah, you
break
beat
their
their
nose.
ass.
And he taught me as like a child. I never did it, but he taught me as a child. He's like, this is how you break someone's nose. And dude, I still remember it. And I was like, I'm so glad I never had to use it because I'm lethal. I can break your nose
Like,
because I
guess what?
know how.
Try me, I'll break your nose.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
But no, seriously, yeah, same way. I'm gonna hurt someone. But me, I'll get disrespected over and over and over again. It's like, okay, well, fuck. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
Mm-hmm.
learned boundaries. Now we don't say fine. Now we say I'm gonna break your nose to them too.
Oh yeah. We'll
Over
say
us.
I will bust your kneecaps. You cross me, your kneecaps get busted. Sorry,
Literally.
not sorry about it.
Exactly.
Disclaimer, please don't bust people's kneecaps. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is all in
Well,
jest. This is all
this
in
is
jest.
we're all joking here.
Dark humor. Haha, coping mechanisms. Ha 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 ha
Ha,
ha.
ha, ha. we we've segued so many times so well. Yes, literally that.
Mhm.
But God,
How are you
no.
feeling right now?
I feel good. Yeah, I
Feel
feel
good?
good.
Feel vibey?
Yeah,
Fun.
feeling.
How can I support you going forward?
Um, that's really a weird question, Grace. Not weird. I've just never been asked that. Ever. Ever. So I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't know. I don't know at all. Oh my God, Grace, I'm about to cry. I've never been asked that. What the fuck? What? I don't know.
Well, you can text me and let me know when you figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, I've never been asked that. How can I support you going forward? What?
Yeah, because I want to,
Yeah.
because I
We'll just be
genuinely
friends.
care.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
just be friends. Yeah, perfect. That works. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know why that like struck me so bad. I was like, that's crazy.
It's why I'm here, because I actually care.
Love that. I love that so much. Yeah.
I have my support pillow that I
Oh
hug.
my God. Bless. I just have my fat Pippa, but she's doing her thing.
Rather chonk.
Rather chunk, rather huggable over there.
Speaking directly to our listeners, what would be your message about unlearning hatred?
My message would be that I feel like deep down everyone knows what's right and what's wrong. And I feel like if you really give yourself the time to show love forward and be more love forward, that you're going to see so many opportunities and doors open up for you in your life, whether that's like personal, professional, anything. I feel like if you just put the hate to the side and don't don't just don't um your life is going to change. It's going to be so much more positive because you aren't going to be seeing everything through this like basically these negative sunglasses anymore. You can open up your whole life just by being more love forward.
Mm. Mm. You can open up your whole life. It's very true. That's so very true. When you take a break
Mhm.
from that, because hating people is exhausting.
It is because you have your judgments within that. You have all sorts of things wound up into one big ass like emotional boulder that if you just let that go and you just like just think and put yourself in other people's like positions and just think about others and just be more like accepting and loving. Everything is just so much more chill that way. There's literally so much less stress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, so much less stress.
Yeah, there is a lot less
You're
stress.
not focused on others, you're just more focused on yourself and just going with the flow, I feel like. Because I feel like with a whole bunch of hate, you're hating on so many different things. And it's like, quit. Why are you doing
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah, I fully, I fully agree with that. And anger takes such a toll on you, not just mentally, but also physically. It ages you.
Oh my God. That's the truth.
It really, really does age you. And my Mimi, my grandmother from Jamaica, she's 80. I love her. I'm the most genetically related to her, which is crazy. My mom did like all these DNA tests once upon a time. But out of all my grandparents, I'm the most like my Mimi. And I brought that up to her one time. She was like, "Oh, so you're cool and easy and you can let things go?" I was like, "Sometimes, yeah."
Sometimes, yeah.
She's like, "Okay, well, you'll be most like me when you can fully acknowledge that people are dumb and you can't change them, and that's
Yes.
okay. And you can just let it go."
Yes. Literally. Literally.
The only person that you can change is yourself. And then you can have influence on other people's lives based on how you treat them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And she's
Bad.
like, do you want to have influence for good? Do you want to see other people thrive? Do you want to see other people be successful? Or do you want to have influence for evil? Do you want to see other people suffer? Do you want to see other people fail? And she's like, that is the true marker of another person, is how they use their influence. Do they use it for the building up of others, or do they use it for the detriment of others?
Right.
She's so wise. She's such a queen.
That is wise as shit. First off, love you, Mimi. That is wise as hell. Because yeah. Why would you spend your energy and your time just being so hateful and wishing negative and wanting hurt and all this and on other people? It's just like, no, what is that? Why
Mm-hmm.
is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's so odd, but no, yeah, wise as hell.
She's such
That's
a queen. I love her with all my heart. Oh,
love.
I love you, Mimi. I know you watch
Love you, Mimi, as
sometimes.
well.
Sometimes she watches. She
Yeah.
doesn't like to let me know that she watches, but sometimes she'll like quote some of my guests and I'll be like, you are watching.
I love that. That's cute. That's precious.
Oh, she's such a
We
good
love you,
friend.
Mimi.
We love you, Mimi. Shout out. Do you
Shout
have
out Mimi worldwide. We love you.
one love? No problem. Everything
Hey,
I
there
read.
you go. Perfect.
Do you have any resources or recommendations that you'd like to share?
Um, I do. I will get them to you though.
Okay. The
Yeah.
resources will be in the description.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, my queen. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me on. I know this is probably chaotic as hell, and you're probably gonna have to edit it super bad.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's a part of my job.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, this was great. This is fantastic, and I loved it so much. I appreciate you so much, Grace, and everything that you do and all this space that you hold for everyone. I think it's fantastic, and I don't think that you should stop ever. I don't think you should change ever. I think you should continue with this, and I think this is really going to pop off for you, and it's going to go somewhere for you big.
I I hope it goes somewhere so that more people can become trauma informed
Yes.
and start healing.
Yeah.
Talk about like chaos. They just knocked over a stand, these little bitches. They're like, oh, what happened? They're like,
They're like,
how
oh,
did that
that's
happen?
crazy. We
How did
didn't
that?
do nothing, Mom.
Yeah, you guys are so chaotic, Gigi and Mochi. That's okay. I love you so very much. But yeah, that's all I want for the podcast is I don't care if it makes money. I don't care anything like that. It would be nice if it did, but that's not my
But yeah, of
purpose.
course. That's not your
It
purpose.
my purpose is to reach people, you know?
Yeah. I
I
think it for sure. I think you already are. And I think it's just gonna do the more and more you put into it, the more and more it's gonna give. And I think that's gonna be great. We love to see it. We love to see it. Oh my God, I just
Hell
activated
yeah!
literally. Hey, laser! Amazing.
That was awesome.
Oh, shit. Try that again. What was that? How did
I
I do
don't
that?
know.
That was crazy.
That was awesome.
Dang, give it up for random lasers. Anyways,
Well, thank you so much for sharing. We will see you later. Bye bye.
yes, bye.
Okay.
If you're watching us over on YouTube, here are our memes of the week, carefully curated from the amazing members over on our Discord server. Now let's get into those memes. At the end of every episode, we spin our wheel of emotions to learn a new feeling and how it correlates to trauma. Disappointed. Nah. Distant, withdrawn, suspicious. Okay. So, when this pertains to what we're talking about, when we're coping with all these difficult things that we're going through, we can feel very distant from others. You know, I personally have felt super withdrawn from others, especially when it comes to discussing my own mental struggles. Because, I'm really open on the podcast talking about it, but in my own real life, it's really hard because it's almost as if I am the strong friend. I am the friend that everyone comes to whenever they have a problem, and I'm the friend with all the resources. And more often than not, people don't really check on me. They don't. And that sucks. And to be honest, it makes me feel super distant, super withdrawn, because it feels like I'm always reaching out to people. And I wonder sometimes, why don't people reach out to me to check on me, to see if I'm okay? And I want to encourage you guys. I want to first encourage the strong friends, the friends that are always reaching out to others to make sure that they're okay. I want to encourage you that it's okay to ask for help. Okay? Because my dad would always say, the worst thing that could happen if you ask for help is someone telling you no, but you're still in the same position you were in before you asked for help. You are not any worse off than you were before. I want to encourage you to keep asking for help. And I want to encourage those of us that may not be the strong friends or don't consider ourselves the strong friends to reach out to your strong friends, to support them, to ask them if they need anything. I want to also encourage those of us that have been using dark humor as a coping mechanism. Like, imagine your anxiety is a huge balloon, and that dark humor is just letting out a little bit of that anxiety, a little bit of that worry, a little bit of that stress, a little bit of that gravitas of like everything you're going through, but it's like in a more easily consumable way. I want to encourage you to openly ask someone, hey, can I share something deep with you? Or, hey, I'm struggling. Are you someone that I can talk to about this? And the worst thing that they can say is no. And then you're still in the same position you were in. But you can always share with us anonymously over on our Discord server. Okay? We would love to meet you, know you, and support you in whatever capacity that we can. The Discord link is in our description. So please come check us out. Come share with others, get podcast updates, and make some friends. In the Discord, we have so many different channels of discussion that include more than just trauma. All right? It's a lot of fun. Genuinely, it is a lot of fun. Special thanks goes out to all those Discord users that are listening right now. Thank you. I appreciate you, homie. I see you. I appreciate you. And if you'd like to support our podcast, we have a Patreon. Different tiers can get you a bracelet that is a handmade bracelet made by me, Grace, or you can get a sticker like the one on the back of my computer. The link is in the description. We also have a bonfire where you can get custom apparel designed by yours truly, and that link is also in the description. Any support helps us out a lot, so if you feel compelled to, please like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends. Thank you so much for listening. And just a quick reminder, you are capable of a fulfilling life in spite of your circumstances and your trauma. May you rise again from the ashes and be filled with peace, hope, joy, love, and understanding. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.